Okay, let's do it.
The very first video I ever posted on this channel was called The Problem with Women in Games and Why It's Killing Hype. Over the last year, we have come back to this topic several times and I have expanded on my thoughts, but you know, a very small optimistic part of me was kind of hoping that by now it would begin to fade into obscurity, become a distant memory. Well, if last week has shown us anything, unfortunately, that is not the case. But before we get into all of that, there actually was a ton that happened this past week. We saw lots of updates, news, reveals, and there is so much that I am excited about. First being Jeff Keighley's High Guard Redemption arc, which even though the feed was stutter maxing almost the entire live stream, he got off to a great start by completely mogging both the State of Play and Xbox Showcase. Summer Game Fest opened up on Resident Evil Veronica, which is very exciting. I cannot wait for this remake. You guys probably know if I had to pick a AAA dev that I think is really crushing it right now, it would be Capcom. They have been on such a roll lately. We saw the reveal for Final Fantasy VII Revelation, the third and final part of the remake trilogy, and learned that the lovely Tifa is joining Street Fighter. Monster Hunter Wilds is getting its big expansion. Pow World is finally hitting 1.0 on July 10th, and I just know Nintendo was coping hard.
I haven't played probably in at least a couple of months, and I'm really excited to see what they've added. I've been holding off on playing fucking Pow World because they added so much new shit and I don't want to like play it until it's done so that I don't like kind of spoil it for myself.
Watching Jeff in the audience hype it up so much.
Pow World is
the
fun.
Blood of Dawnwalker, the vampire RPG from the X-Witcher crew, is coming this September, along with any other game that has apparently ever been made, but it looks great. Onimusha, Way of the Sword, showed up at State of Play. I played through the demo and I enjoyed it, although Capcom, I do have to ask, what are we doing with that chatty inanimate?
Oh, the fucking sword talks. Oh, I'm blocking her. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm stupid. I wasn't paying attention. Man, why do they gotta add this shit into these cool games, man? The Gauntlet talk.
Gauntlet? Making me a little nervous. A very quick...
I don't like it. It reminds me of like Marvel millennial fucking writing. It's not fucking terrible. Yeah, but I don't like it. I don't know. Maybe I'm miserable. Maybe I have no whimsy. That's just my fucking opinion, I guess. I guess, like, sometimes it's funny, but I think it can be really irritating.
Aside here, this actually reminds me of one of my minor complaints about Pragmata. Even though I loved the game, you and Diana did not give you a moment of silence. Stellar Blade Blood.
Yeah, but kids don't shut up, and it was mimicking a child, so I can kind of understand the fantasy, at least.
Rain was announced, and I am very excited for this, and of course we will be coming back to Eevee in just a bit. Mortal Shell 2 beta is out. I'm playing through that now. It's pretty impressive so far. Alien Isolation 2 is finally happening 12 years later, and it looks incredible. Will IGN give this game another 6?
Scary.
I don't know. Only time will tell. We got
IGN 6 is like an actual 8 for people.
Another look at Beast of Reincarnation from Game Freak. Yes, the Pokemon studio. You'll play as Emma, so I'm very excited to adventure as her and her wolf companion named Ku this August. Xbox did a whole deep dive on Gears of War E-Day, which is an Xbox exclusive, but it is still coming to PC. We got a brand new Spyro in the works.
Isn't Gears of War kind of clapped though?
The remake of Halo 1 coming, and Persona 6 was officially announced, along with a reveal of Persona 4 Revival. We saw more of Fable, which I didn't even realize was Fable for like the first half of the trailer, but the more I see of this game, the less excited I am for it. I'm so sorry. In my opinion, it is just feeling more—
I saw the character side-by-side remake of one of the Fable characters, like just an NPC, and they just nerfed the shit out of it.
More and more like a generic Western fantasy slop. To be fair though, I do think what we saw of Hayley Atwell's performance as Isabelle was really good, and while I personally feel like she actually looks a bit closer to her normal self and better than literally any other character that we saw in that whole trailer, Western devs just cannot help themselves.
Thank you!
It is actually crazy to see how they keep failing these beautiful Hollywood actresses, which, speaking of, it is not anything new, and definitely not new to the Fable franchise, but AAA continually hiring these big Hollywood actors for these massive projects cannot be cheap in an industry that is actively struggling and raising costs on everything. I legitimately cannot believe Jack Quaid was actually used to mocap
What did I say? What have I said? I am so fucking sick of it, man. I'm sick of these people complaining about how much fucking, oh, it's a gaming budget needs to be really high because it's a really good production. Yes, bro. You really need the celebrity to mocap this too. Do you know how much it fucking costs to do all this instead of hiring an animator?
Or block for
Frank
the cube
Goat.
in God of War.
You, bro.
Why didn't they just have someone else stand in for that? Why does that character exist in the first place? I don't know, but like I said at the start, this week has been a lot. But the one announcement that we just have to talk about right off the bat is, of course, State of Play's big reveal, God of War Laufey. The new mainline God of War game confirmed by Sony themselves that does not feature the God of War. And I knew as soon as this game was revealed, any feedback or criticism surrounding the creative decisions, the sidelining of Kratos in his own franchise was immediately going to be overtaken.
That was so Marvel-esque, man.
By the gamers hate women crowd, and it has been very interesting to see how it has evolved.
Criticizing things means I hate women. Mutually exclusive things.
From you're sexist, you're just a gooner chud, to, you know what? If you'd rather play as Kratos in your God of War game, you're actually just gay. The discourse.
What? But girls didn't play God of War. That doesn't make them gay. What?
Discourse is basically a hydra at this point. Each time you chop off one gamers hate female character's accusation, 3 more grow back to take its place. And this gets us back around to the very start of this video, this ongoing pattern of female characters in games and how they are continuing to be misrepresented and treated in the West, most notably by AAA, and I'm tired, boss. First off, Sony was out here hyping up this State of Play like crazy. We had a very early countdown, lots of industry buzz about it. They even brought it back to select movie theaters for the—
My first reaction was they said exclusive 20 minutes of gameplay, and it was like literally what? 13 to like 16 minutes of just nothing. Yeah, and then like a fraction of it was actually like them playing the game, man. Yeah, like, what are we talking about? Like, I can attest this. My first criticism wasn't even like, oh, well, this is kind of weird. It was, holy shit, can I play the fucking game yet?
Very first time since 2018. Even I was getting super curious about what was about to be revealed, but after they opened with Wolverine, my brain went 2 directions. The first being, no way. Are they actually the ones to get to show off more GTA 6? And the other being—
I think Wolverine is kind of in the same thing, in the same bracket as that. It's a lot of cinematic, like, fighting. Yeah. I mean, it's not as bad as this, obviously, but it is up there.
Oh, we're about to get more action, at least. Aren't we? Imagine my surprise, though, when it ended with God of War laundry. After the 20-minute reveal, within a few minutes, my whole feed was talking about it. Hot takes, memes, defenses of the defenses, people splitting into different camps.
By the way, this is real. Like, the cube comes and helps you and smashes the— like, this is kind of like, reminds me of Kingdom Hearts. And Kingdom Hearts, like, plays into it, because it like, literally borrows, like, Disney characters and shit, right? This is not AI, this is real.
And saying it is not a God of War game without Kratos. Why would we want to play as his 45-year-old dead wife? Other fans who are excited about it, and some people who just really hate the cube. However you dice it though, the backlash was real and pretty significant, and the fast reaction from Santa Monica on everything was pretty telling. Pretty quickly after it all started, they went into full PR mode, basically this reassurance of, don't worry, Kratos is still the God of War, we promise we have so many more stories to tell with him, please just come along for the ride with Faye. Although, given production timelines and the fact that Sony themselves called this a mainline entry, I know we've got the remakes coming, but probably we will not see.
Then why did you call it God of War, bro? Why not call it like God of Wars?
A brand new Kratos game for, I don't know, 6 years or more, so that promise from them is doing a lot of work. But my favorite part of this whole thing was when Domino's UK tweeted out that a God of War game with no Kratos is like a pepperoni passion pizza with no pepperoni. Some random intern being more in line with the audience than actual Santa Monica themselves, and instead of just ignoring it, Santa Monica fired back with, okay,
They can't afford to have a flop again, and I don't think this will flop. I think God of War will be carried by, like, the fan base. It will. It's not like it's a standalone. If it was a standalone game, people wouldn't fucking care. But because it has the labeling, it will. It's kind of like the Halo thing. There's still people that fucking play that.
For the feedback, Domino's Pizza corporate account. And
It's
yes,
not gonna be
I guess that is the
mind-shattering.
best that they could do. Shortly after came the headlines defending them getting rage baited by a pizza company, and I don't see
Claps
how
back.
any of this is how a confident studio behaves. You don't reassure people that hard and fast. You don't get baited by a pizza chain over a creative decision that is supposedly working very well. Publicly saying that you're
corpos fighting with each other, the interns are scrambling for a fucking witty response.
disappointed and hoping people will give the game a chance.
Make me buy the game for sure.
You shouldn't have to put on a brave face just because of the latest entry in your decades-long established franchise. A studio that trusts its premise and its audience just shows you the game and lets it speak for itself. And funnily enough, in the same week, we got to watch a studio do exactly that. Over at Summer Game Fest, Shift Up announced Stellar Blade Blood Rain with a brand new lead named Evie. I think the gameplay and graphics look really incredible. I am very excited. It is looking a bit different from the first game. The combat has shifted from the blade over to gauntlet and melee. The music still sounds fantastic though. And it is self-published now, not by Sony. And even though I was really sad to see that Eve is no longer the main character, the studio said that Evie is connected to Eve and that the goal is not to outdo her, but to make a character that players can connect with even more. They also mentioned that while looks are important, they are not everything, and they are heavily focusing on Evie's
using lessons learned from Goddess of Victory, Nike? Wait, I thought Nike was all about ass and titties. What do you mean you learned?
personality and improving the writing, which I think is great. So now we have got two studios, both handing you a new female lead, and this is where the whole you just hate female characters thing finally shows its hand once again, because nobody is actually against female leads. We have had 30 plus years of beloved ones, plenty of which are my favorite characters, and the lineup that people are hyped for right now is stacked with them. The demand has never been no female leads. The demand is accept our female leads, but then when someone goes and creates one that doesn't quite fit into that narrative, it is, oh no, not that one. Faye is just the latest example of the whole Western AAA female character problem. Played by Deborah Ann Wall, an actual stunning woman. Nobody is disagreeing with that.
She looks better. Sorry.
When the people defend—
No, it's the lighting! No, it's not, bro.
Defending her design agree. They are sharing her real-life photos going, you don't like this? See? She is gorgeous. And yes, she is. That is kind of the whole point. Even her current day photos, if you want to be super fair, when you put them next to the in-game model, there is a noticeable gap, and that gap is not on accident, despite what we have—
Even with the eye bags from— she's just not wearing makeup. She's literally not. Like, you can't argue and be like, oh, well, in the other photo, she has makeup on. You literally— okay, look at that. She has these fucking bags and wrinkles, but if you fucking look— she has these wrinkles, but not the bags.
Is a noticeable gap, and that gap is not on accident. Despite what we have been told, it is not a tech limit. It is not just the lighting. You can see it the second you put the two side by side. It's the same issue we've talked about on this channel 100 times already. The one that only—
I literally found a really unflattering photo of her just like sitting there with no makeup through a webcam doing an interview, and she still looked better. Oh, but it's in a video game. Oh, but she's older. Buddy, this is fucking fat coat, man.
Never happens in the West. Fable, Star Wars Outlaws, Mary Jane, and Spider-Man 2, the new Jean Grey and Wolverine. Actually,
I ain't gonna hold you that my first reaction was like, who the hell is this? Because when I think of Jean Grey, she's a lot like, I don't know, more— she's got a blockhead right here. She really do.
most
She looks
characters
like a
in that
blockhead.
game. A beautiful actress or just a strong original design gets run through whatever the opposite of a beauty filter is, and we get handed the result, while everyone else insists it looks no different, or it looks fine, or it is just the technology. And to be clear, she's not hot enough is not my whole argument here. I am not saying every female character needs to look like a supermodel, but when it is this clearly intentional that she has been altered, that decision tells me you are either embarrassed or threatened, or you've got some other agenda.
And imagine working at a video game company or being a writer and purposefully like making another person's appearance not as pretty because you feel insecure. I couldn't, like, even if you feel like that, it's your job to like convey, at least to some degree, if you're gonna go the realistic route, which it is. God of War is realistic, it has realistic graphics. Like, what the fuck? How could you not set aside your bias?
And you're indirectly saying that you do not think this character can be equally compelling and beautiful at the same time. Like, those two things cannot possibly live in the same person. This is nothing new. Caring how a character looks is not some gross gamer thing. Everybody does this. Movie fans, show fans, romantasy readers will go to war over the casting of their book boyfriend. The whole reason I initially got into
even the most woke people that play games like Dead by Daylight, the most popular character in the game right now, recently that was added, is Sable, and it's because she's conventionally attractive and fits into the goth, cute, alternative narrative. And she's like unironically one of the most popular characters. Shocker, I know. And then those people are like, no, I only play her for blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, man, just say she's pretty, man. No. They play another character. Oh, I don't want to. Okay, then. Yeah, just admit it. You're a chud. Just admit you're a fucking chub.
Baldur's Gate 3 was because of countless girls posting videos of the pretty makeup and clothes that they were styling their tabs with. Pretending looks don't matter.
Yeah, that too, actually. Where's the fucking fat mod for the tabs in Baldur's Gate 3? I'm sure there are out there, but when I go on Twitter and when Baldur's Gate 3 first came out, I never saw like uglified tabs. They always made them fucking super skinny, super hot with huge honkers.
Were styling their tabs with. Pretending looks don't matter, or that it is somehow only a thing guys care about, is just dishonest, and it kills the conversation before it can even start. And with Faye, there has even been a clear change from her design in the previous games. Well, she's supposed to look realistic, or she's dead. It's a fantasy game. There's mythological beings all around. One of your companions is a quippy jelly cube. They have just put her in this safe, generic fantasy look that is completely forgettable next to Kratos, and it's not only her, it is the whole creative direction between the quippy, inanimate companions, lack of Kratos, lack of Norse-specific mythology. Just this morning, I saw a tweet from Santa Monica sharing more info about the enchanted pink set of talking ribbons named Rue that will accompany Faye on her journey, which is exactly the tweet that I would come back to for inspo if I were creating my next Barbie fantasy game. Legitimately, if I did not know Faye...
Who's the fucking target audience, man? Do guys really care about a fucking powerful sword with a set of ribbons that talks and sasses you? No, they want to fucking see fucking Kratos ripping people's fucking heads off, man.
Next Barbie fantasy game. Legitimately,
even in the 2018 one where people would argue it's a lot more softer and it's like, you know, it's got depth and relationships and whatever, right? Fucking he's still ripping people's fucking heads off.
If I did not know Faye was an existing character, I would not know that this was supposed to be a God of War game, which even if you take the title off of the cover art, it still doesn't look like a God of War game. But again, if that is not your cup of tea, it is still a female lead, so you just need to accept it, or you might just hate women. Now, flip over to Evie. A studio hands you a new female lead, and despite some people missing Eve, including me, the overwhelmingly majority of the audience who likes this game was immediately excited. And for the record, I do think Evie is super cute. It is clear that they were going for an Alita type aesthetic, and as a 5'2" NPC myself, I am excited that we are finally getting a short queen in the lead role. But the same crowd that was just demanding you accept Faye as your new female lead once again goes, no, not that one. It is just
Yo,
a
Kiro,
unit
think
game.
of the
And then
raid.
the
Thank
real
you.
controversy, a whole wave of people calling Evie a literal child, and worse. Now,
Bro, I've beaten this fucking topic to death, man. Literal child. I've seen Asian women that look like this, by the way. Like old ladies in restaurants, younger ladies that are their daughters because genetics.
I've seen attacks coming from all sides. The internet is up in arms.
You're wrong.
Journalists have already been writing articles about it. And
It's
while I
okay,
do
as
think
one
at this
has
point the
shit
discourse
takes.
has gotten a bit out of hand, to try and be as fair as possible, I will admit that the very first shot I saw of her face, I thought she looked a little bit younger, but looking younger and a child are two completely different things. A 20-year-old is going to look younger than a 30-year-old or even a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
The creator also stated that they
She
wanted
does not have a fucking child's body.
Evie to be shorter and a little younger than Eve, which does look to be the case. And
Maybe there's a lore reason behind it. Like, Evie's like 20, 22, and they like made her an 18-year-old because of the storyline. I don't fucking know.
even if you want to cherry pick that one shot of her, after watching the rest of the trailer, it is completely
people
obvious
just
she is an
nitpicking.
adult East Asian woman. Her full character model has even leaked at this point, further proving
Holy
that we
guacamole.
actually even
Damn,
got our
Arsha's
first
built
Evie
like
cosplay,
that.
and she looks great. It is just so
Oh.
strange to me because petite features on an adult woman do not make her a child or childlike. A younger looking face on an adult woman does not make her a child or childlike. Pull up any K-pop group or K-drama and you'll see this constantly. This is Lisa in her early 20s, one of the biggest pop stars on the planet.
Child!
Same for so many Korean stars in their early 20s, and weirdly, we never saw this discourse over someone like Lily in the first game or Rebecca Chambers in Resident Evil, both petite young adult women. But
Oh no, I actually kind of disagree on this. I think people gave a lot of shit about for Rebecca. Yeah, they did. I do remember that. Like Twitter schizos, obviously, but yes, I do remember people fucking freaking out. Be like, "Why does this Westcore have a photo of like fucking Rebecca?" Did they? Yeah, I saw people fucking crying, and then nobody cared.
both
'Cause it's
petite
Twitter.
young adult women. But the part that does kind of give all of this away, though, is that many of these same people tried this exact type of thing with the first Stellar Blade. They came after Eve as hard as they possibly could.
And the
Male gaze,
gaze.
offensive, unrealistic. I've even seen receipts now of the time when people claimed Eve herself had a childlike face. The whole thing did not land.
Yep, that's definitely a child. Chat, you're all predators.
The game was
Look
a
at
hit.
you.
Fans loved
She
it.
looks 14. Dude, what kind of fucking 14-year-olds are you hanging out with? Is that not a fucking red flag? Is that not a self-report?
Of course, in the second game, fresh off of all
Can
of
I
the
stop
lovely
being one?
discourse,
Nope.
with everybody
Apparently
already
not.
worked up about women in games, they were always going to come and swing even harder. And this time, the swing has shifted to the worst thing that they could think of. She's literally a child. But like I said, it is not just Evie. Eve was also problematic. To be was unrealistic. There was a time Bayonetta was not accepted. The new Lara Croft needed dragging for
Yeah.
wearing makeup. A fully clothed, high-collar character like Amelie from Knight's Path
It's unrealistic. She has makeup and lipstick on. Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
was just called unrealistic and tradwife porn. And that
And you know what fucking pisses me the fuck off about this shit? They had charcoal that they used for like eyeliner and things that you would put into your eyelashes, like natural things, and you could also color your lips with blueberries. I learned this from like actually taking 2 seconds out of my fucking day to look it up. Even peasants knew that rubbing certain things on your face that are like organic and natural that can dye your face, you can put blush on your cheeks. It was just gross? No, it's not gross. They still use that for makeup. Like, you can have makeup that's, like, more natural. There's just such a fucking nonsense argument. People kept nitpicking and being like, oh, this is unrealistic. Why does she have, like, lipstick? Oh my god, you're so stupid. You have, like, literally no idea what you're talking about.
tradwife porn. And that unrealistic claim
Tradwife
gets
porn.
me every single time because
Me, when I look at a fully clothed woman and I think of porn. How fucking fucking, again, self-report. How is that not a self-report? A completely covered woman, literally up, her boobs are like completely covered, and it's up to her fucking, like below, just below her collarbone. God damn, man, these fucking gooners. And they call you guys gooners, by the way.
Called unrealistic and tradwife porn. And that unrealistic claim gets me every single time, because where was this realism crowd for something like Baldur's Gate 3? A game that I love, game of the year, but also a game where if you wanted to...
Because it's easier to self-insert in Baldur's Gate 3 for those people. That's why. It's really that simple.
You
So
can
they
take
don't
Shadowheart,
criticize it as
Mazel, and
much.
Karlach into battle completely booty naked with no mods required. Why didn't they show up for 1348 ex voto with a female lead in a full practical suit of medieval armor? Because it was never about realism. It is about which women in which games are allowed to be
It's just
attractive. And
selective.
underneath that, it has never really been about female leads at all. It has always been, no, not that one. The second a female character threatens the narrative or the developers, she is shoved out the door, insults flying, a pawn that gets moved off the board the moment that she's inconvenient. But finally, moving away from character design, we do have to address the other elephant with God of War, the repeat pattern of male-led franchises being handed to female leads. Now, I don't know. God of War Laufey could end up being a great game that fans unite together on and end up loving. I don't know the future, but even if that does happen, it is obvious that Santa Monica is making a lot of creative decisions with this game that at the very least are sparking a lot of backlash from their fan base.
People have pattern recognition with how God of War has kind of fallen off over the years. The first remake one, the 2018, was fine, and it had a new audience that it catered to, and that was fine for them. But then a lot of people that liked the original, the first one, they did not like the Ragnarok. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith. It's been like almost 10 years since the first one, and they want to like really deviate and create a new story with a new character that's like kind of semi-explored, right? I just don't have a lot of faith.
Quippy blue
They could have just done a DLC, but you know.
cube, sparkly talking ribbons, and quirky millennial dialogue
The
to
first
playing
one,
as Faye
2005.
herself.
No, I'm talking about the first remake. It's hard to keep track of what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying.
At the heart of it, you've still got a beloved male-led franchise that is doing great and has been around for the last 20 years. The studio then decides it wants to tell a woman's story, which is completely fine, but instead of building her a brand new world,
Yeah, I should say
they
reboot.
hand her an existing one and move the original lead into the passenger seat or the trunk. And I think that if this was just a one-off thing, not a consistent pattern, people might not be so vocal about it. I don't know, it's hard to say because the tone is pretty different too with this one, but Sony Studios just can't stop doing this. Naughty Dog killed Joel and handed you Ellie, and then made you play as Abby for half of the game. Uncharted spun off without Nathan Drake at all, just Chloe and Nadine. Ghost of Tsushima does huge numbers, and the follow-up, Yote, is not Jin's story anymore, it is Atsu's. And
It still was pretty successful. Even with the backlash the actress faced, and rightfully so because she's a fucking weirdo, it still did okay. It didn't do too bad. I can forgive these two, but the other three, I'm like,
not Sony, but same thing with Geralt finishing his story in Witcher 3, and now Witcher 4 belongs to Ciri. Now, to
We'll
be clear,
see.
I love Chloe, I love Ellie, I love Ciri, and I don't think playing
It
as
underperformed. It did, but it still did good for a fucking AAA. Yeah, it did decent. It just didn't reach the numbers of fucking Ghost of fucking the first one.
them is a bad thing, but
Not the
it is
Yote
about
one.
what they keep being used to do and any type of discourse that follows. Replacing or sidelining a beloved protagonist, any protagonist, a man or a woman, will inevitably get pushback. That is very normal. We just talked about it with Evie replacing Eve, and it even happened with something as beloved as Red Dead 2. But the second it's a woman stepping into a man's role, the conversation just ends because suddenly you're not allowed to ask whether it was a good creative call, whether it still appeals to the target audience, whether it's something that fans can rally behind, because now you hate women.
Lara Croft Tomb Raider has been around since like what, 1999. Nobody batted an eye. But because of pattern recognition and seeing AAA studios double down and saying, like, we need to shift the space, women aren't represented enough in video games, the people that are sick of it will constantly fucking question it because they don't know if it's like either a forced or just a realistic thing that people went down the line and created a good story for before the game is even out. They are going to criticize it before it's even there. At that point for people to play. 1996? Yeah. It's been around for a while. People didn't fucking complain.
And this is not specific to gaming. The same move has played out across Marvel, across Star Wars, the Force is female thing, sold as being more inclusive, but it
The power of one, the power of many, fuck men. They did Luke dirty too.
Tends to land as taking something that people, mostly men, love, deciding it's problematic, and then fixing it for the modern audience. And that tells me it is not actually about telling women's stories at all. I think if that were the case, we would probably see a lot more brand new stories and characters standing on their own. It is more about coming down on
Look at this fucking stupid cube, man. Look at this stupid fucking cube. Look at it!
And new stories and characters standing
Dude, what the fuck am I watching? She's beating him up, and then this
on their
stupid
own. It is more
fucking
about
cube is in the fucking way. Yeah, it's such an eyesore.
Coming down on masculinity and breaking existing toys because it really only ever runs in one direction. When is the last time you saw anyone ever take an established and very well-known female lead and swap her out for a man? The next Horizon game is not going to be led by Erend. Lara Croft's next adventure is not going to sideline her for Winston the Butler. The Alien franchise is not going to cast a man as the lead role for their next movie. Which, again, like I said, is kind of where the Stellar Blade sequel shows us another angle. Shift Up has seemingly benched Eve for a brand new lead. And while I am going to really miss her, this is completely different from the God of War situation. Evie still fits the world extremely well and is someone that the existing audience would want to play as. Despite their differences, you cannot tell me that she does not fit the existing Stellar Blade expectations.
Yeah, because she's hot and she's fit and she's nice to look at when she's doing her fucking moves and shit. That's the audience you cater to. You didn't just pivot and turn her into a fucking Blobomus Maximus American woman. You would get backlash for it if it was a fucking big ol' 171-pound fucking average American woman.
I mean, come on, they are clearly still building this game for their target audience, and they even split from Sony to do it on their own terms. And that's the part that kind of made this whole week a little funny to me. After all of the discourse started with God of War.
Average? No, like actually, that's the average weight of an American woman. I know it's fat, I'm just saying, like that proves my point. She's a fat woman. What? No, I'm serious. Yeah, look it up. 170 is way too light. No. I'm saying, like, the statistic. No, look it up. Like, Google it right now. The average American woman weighs 170. Yeah.
I knew that if I was just a little patient, this argument would settle itself in record time. Enter Summer Game Fest and all of the other titles featured across Xbox and PlayStation, where it fell apart pretty quickly and we saw such a celebration for women in games across the board. Resident Evil Veronica, Final Fantasy VII Revelation, and Street Fighter VI, 1666 Amsterdam, Gundam Rogue Orbit.
Yeah, nobody fucking better than I. The incels didn't even fucking say anything, and I'd mean this in brackets, like incels. Fucking yeah, there's a few people that are like, oh, woman on the screen, oh, I'm out. Like, even Asmon's fucking chat was like, yeah, you know, this looks kind of cool. Nobody fucking batted an eye. And again, the journalists aren't fucking crying about people saying anything, because people liked it.
1666 Amsterdam,
Looks decent.
Gundam Rogue Orbit, Alien Isolation 2, Ace Combat 8, Castlevania, Belmont's Curse, Beast of Reincarnation. I'm sure there's more that I missed, but plenty of games with upcoming female leads or prominent female characters that fans are super excited for. I don't think anyone is mad that Faye exists, and I'm sure a lot of people probably like her as a character, but even if you think the game will be good, taking a beloved male protagonist and his own series and giving him the same treatment that we continue to see happen, while also tonally changing the game, and then not understanding how there could be pushback, is why we will continue to see this discourse happen. Players are tired of pointing at something with their own two eyes and being told that it is not happening. While gaming in general has always skewed male, God of War in particular has always leaned hard in that direction, and that is not to say that women do not enjoy the series as well, but
yeah,
it is not hard to understand that
because women are more empathetic emotionally and they can play a game that's centered around a male emotional journey of, like, you know, developing a relationship with his son and, you know, all that fucking jazz.
many fans would of course rather play as Kratos in a God of War game than his dead wife. It's kind of like a bully on the playground who has been smacking you around every day for years, and you've just been taking it because that's how it's gone for as long as you can remember.
Gameplay, by
until
the way.
one day you catch his hand and you tell him to stop hitting you, and he looks at you like you are the one that has the problem. We are not the bullies for asking the smacking to finally stop. And all of the pushback lately in general, not just Laufey or the ongoing female character debate, but Mixtape, stop killing games, players voting with their wallets, tired of paying more for getting less, voicing what they think.
Bigots, man.
The sheer venom that pushback always gets from journalists, the internet, or just people in the industry is exactly how you know that it's landing. They would not get this rattled if the pushback was not doing something. A AAA gaming studio would not be firing back at a pizza company's goofy tweet. And unless these companies
it just screams fucking insecurity to me to fire back on some fucking stupid pizza intern that fucking thought he was clever and then they okayed it.
And fully support themselves on this modern audience that they are constantly seeking until they remember what and who they are building for, this will just keep happening over and over again. All right, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for being here. I know this one was a little bit more critical, but I don't want the takeaway to be from this week that I am bitter. There were genuinely so many exciting things announced, and it just reminded me that I love games. I want more than
wholesome Chungus Disney animal.
Anything for this industry to course correct and improve.
God
and
damn
there are
it,
so
man.
many devs and studios out there who are working tirelessly to make this happen. And we have gotten some really great games over the past few years, with lots more to come soon. Like I talked about a couple of videos ago, I think ultimately it all comes down to trust. The studios that trust and respect their core audience and build for them are the ones that earn our trust back. And the more of them that we get, the faster this whole thing turns around.
Monster Hunter had poor optimization and it had like problems at launch, and it still kind of does, but it's still Monster Hunter. I don't like the whole fucking thing where you walk around and listen to fucking dialogue shit. I think that's boring, but at the end of the day, like, yeah, the combat's still fucking sick and amazing and it's cool. Like, they didn't deviate that far from their fucking audience.
Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.
Even compared to, like, Monster Hunter 20 years ago. Although I do think that Monster Hunter, like, as an RPG, really kind of fell off. I think it's not as, like, immersive. Yeah. You played a Hunts the Monsters? Yeah, I think, like, inserting a story into it was kind of, like, stupid in my opinion, but that's just my personal opinion. Yeah. That's my opinion. A lot of games have done down their mechanics and it's annoying. Yeah, I agree. They dumbed it down because they want to cater to a wider audience. Model broke? Yeah, I know. It's just annoying. Yeah, go check out Background NPC. She's a nice lady. Good video. Yeah. Monster Wild was fun for a week or so. A bit of a downgrade from World, though. I agree. I agree. World and Ice, fucking, what's it called? Fucking Iceborne? What am I saying? The first expansion. Iceborne, yeah. Yeah, Iceborne was good. Even the expansion will be better? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. World was good? Yeah, but Iceborne was even better. That's what I'm saying. So maybe people are right to say maybe the expansion will be better than the base game. It's not like Worlds was bad. No, I liked it. Yeah. That was a good video. Lots of yapping. Enjoyable.